Welcome along, everybody. Welcome along. My microphone might be a little bit too loud, so we'll sort that out. This is a Breakout Racing League. This is the PZ division. This is round 4, and we are here in the Dutch coast of Zandvoort. Joining me in the commentary box is the top dog, one of the Heat League admins here, just briefly, because he has to get down there and race. That's Exa. And in the co-commentary will be for the first time here as well. With me in Breakout Racing League will be Belzy. So, Exa, before you have to run down there and jump into the car, how are you doing this evening, and are you looking forward to this?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm actually very looking forward to it. I love Netherlands. It's definitely an amazing track. A lot more elevation than a lot of the tracks that we're used to seeing in the F1 calendar.
And speaking of the F1 calendar, so obviously we're a few races into this season. How many races are we looking at for this season overall? And what's Yep.
We're looking at 17 total races. Some of the tracks we've taken out: Monaco, Dubai, Australia. But of course, we've kept a lot more of the semi-technical ones throughout the season, as we kind of prepare ourselves for the F1 2021 game coming out.
That's correct. And you guys also do obviously the other platforms as well, not just PC. This is the PC obviously at this point that you're seeing, but yeah, you have Xbox. You have other racing leagues and stuff like that. So what do they have to do? They slap that Discord button while you're on the obviously YouTube here. Where's everybody going to find that juicy information if they want to sign up and be involved?
Yeah, definitely. We'll get that all posted up on the YouTube for everybody as well. We'll get that. You can also check us out on Instagram, Twitter. Just like us there, send a DM, and we'll get you into the Discord as well. We also have a Facebook page. But yeah, and you can also check us out on Twitch at Breakout Racing League.
Fantastic, mate. So should we let you go down there and do your driving? Yeah, we should.
Yep.
Go slap those overalls on, mate. Get the helmet on. Get that.
Yep.
So that's fantastic. All right. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for the invitation for myself and Belzy to come in and commentate the races for you. So looking forward to, and good luck.
Yep. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So there you have it. Thomas in the Twitch world, the YouTube world there. So did somebody say goated commentating team? We shall see. Well, one thing, if you wanted to speak about goats, look at Cal the goat. What do you think about Cal the goat there, Belzy?
Yeah, of course, man. Just taking the top position at the last first three races of the calendar here. And interesting fact about Ghost, they do enjoy climbing. Let's see, he's climbed his way right to the top. So let's see if he can keep his way up there, or if he's going to slide on down, as goats also like to do.
That's fantastic. And thank you for joining me in the commentary box very late. Again, Belzy, it's becoming a bit of a habit, isn't it? I think I just hit you up about 5 minutes before anything and go, Belzy, are you available for commentating? And you're like, all right, mate, I can do that. Well, Cal the goat, he definitely is climbing his way up at the moment. We thought MRL Jax set the fastest lap there, 109.7. Well, Shappy slid on in there too at P2. But keep an eye on the McLaren driver, in P3. Cal the goat, he's going to be looking at, he's exactly what you mentioned there, climbing his way up into the top. He's got the fastest middle sector. There it is, a 108.9 confirmed. So he's almost 0.8 of a second quicker than Mr. Jaxie running in P2.
Of course, definitely a very respectable banker lap. It's quicker than me, so I could easily give him the GOAT status for this league right off the bat.
Thomas is here to support the boys in the booth. Thomas, we're loving to support you down in the chat there of the YouTube world, guys. If you're not tuning in there, please shout out. If you know any information that we don't know about, if you're chatting to the drivers, engineering, stuff like that,
That
we'd
is
like
Mr.
to read that.
Tomahawk TV.
Tomahawk, that's Tommy TV. Okay, great.
That is Tommy TV.
Yeah, we know Tommy.
So,
Good lad. And
definitely a good lad.
he's quick as well, mate. He's quick.
Oh, yes. Definitely, I've seen major improvements in him over the last couple of months. Kind of taken him under mine and Jet's wing, as well as Barnes, and we've helped him out. And he's catching on really well. And I can't wait to see how fast he can get.
Don't encourage him too much, mate. Otherwise, you'll be losing races consistently to him.
Oh,
like
fine.
That.
That's fine.
All right, so
No, lad.
how is Zandvoort for you? Obviously, this track, we didn't get to see the Formula 1 drivers drive around it last season. We all know why. So now we will this season, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Everything goes good.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Lots of bankers. Lots of challenges.
Oh, definitely.
So where's your make or break, mate, around here if you want to set up obviously the quickest lap that you could possibly pull?
Obviously, a big section to gain a lot of time is the banked turn, the first banked turn. I believe it's turn 3 or 4. I'm not sure if they consider that little kink a turn as Zandvoort. Definitely, if you can whip it around there, you gain massive amounts of time, as well as 2 turns later at the downhill right-hander. And apologies for not knowing the names. I just race them. We'll go with that. But definitely, it's a downshift, almost flat-out turn, and if you can just stick it and keep it fast around there, you gain massive amounts of time. And definitely a technical track. Keeping it clean, keeping it consistent is where you're going to win this race.
Fantastic. No apologies for not knowing the corner names, mate, because I have absolutely no idea as well. I didn't get a chance to pull that information up. But anyway, we should go on a flyer with somebody at the moment and see what sort of time they're going to do here. I think let's go back.
Like Jack is on an outlet getting ready to start. He's coming around that.
All right, let's do it then.
Turn.
So we'll go on board with Jack, and Belzy, you get the honours of how to drive around here. Don't worry about the corner names. Just worry about where you need to spot the apexes, how to hook it up.
Drop it down to 3rd gear for this first turn, upshift into 4th for that better exit. You can really take that curb coming up here to the next couple turns. If you can send it through here, you gain massive amounts of time. Obviously, you want to not lock up. And keeping it pedal to the floor out of that exit without spinning is definitely a big time gain. Coming up around here, he's keeping it in 7th. I think he's already messed up. He's already pulled out of this lap, looks like. So, unfortunately, not really sure.
It's a 31.7, mate. Yeah, he's practically off the pace there, that first sector, so I think he's definitely going to lift off there. Lift and coast. Nurse it back again.
Nurse it back. So you shift into 3rd, upshift into 4th for that better exit. Coming up here, this very tricky left-hander section. You can eat a lot of that curb and keep it quite a good pace into that left-hander and keep it around there. Drop it to 4th. We'll see him drop it to 5th there, but drop it into 4th for a split second, up into 5th, and you're basically pedal to the floor up again until turn 1. So I think he's going on a hot lap right now, actually. So we'll see how he runs it again. Turn 1, drop it into 3rd, upshift into 4th for the better exit. You can ride a lot more of that curb, but we won't worry about that. Down into 5th for that turn. Whip it around here. Looks like he could get a little more speed there, but definitely good, better exit there. Now it's flat out all the way up to this turn. This long right-hander. Downshift, usually in qualifying, you can get away with 7th. In the race, it's down to 6th. This turn, you downshift into 6th. Again, just flip the throttle, basically, and you're back on the power. Drop it down into 4th. You're back on. Get a wide entry into here so you can get a much better exit. Hit the DRS zone. And again, it's just another little straight here. And back into this twisty bit. Much better exit. You can also ride that curve just a little bit. And let's see if he drops it down to, down into 4th, back into 5th. Now it's just flat out to the end of the start finish line.
Yeah, he spot that apex really well on the inside there. Tuck it really close to the wall, it looks like. Is he going to improve on his time? I don't think he's going to bring it to Cal. But
109.5. Definitely
improved.
Respectable lap.
7/10 down now. Let's go back to P4 at the moment. And that's Max Penner at the moment. Yes, looking to improve on his lap. That's the Mercedes driver. Well, he's improved on his middle sector there. He's about 1/10 off the pace of the front runners at the moment. Let's see if Max can get down the main straight. Try to find a 9th gear. There are not going to be a 9th gear in the Mercedes, but can he improve on his time? He does. Yep, he's just a little bit off the pace there of Jack's lap that you just saw. By one half a thousandth of a second off there.
500ths of a second right there.
Yep. The times are falling a little bit. Let's go back to, looks like P8 there. That's Cypher in the Williams. Well, he was improving a little bit on his personal best, but don't think he's going to get too much more. He's about 2 seconds off the pace at the moment. He's going to find a little bit more there on that Mercedes powered. Actually, we have to actually cut away from that because it looked like Marcinello there, that Ferrari powered Williams, and it's not a Ferrari powered Williams. That's just the meme that's going around now. Williams powered Ferrari. Well, he's going to see Marcello. He's got a fastest middle sector here. So, can this man get it done, slot himself up into P2. Yes, he will.
And
Perfect.
Just a tenth off the goat there, so it's already starting to look like it's going to be a tight race up front at least, and this should be some good action.
Welcome, Eric. Eric out there. Hello, everybody. This is that's Exo actually. Yeah, there you go. His man's everywhere, isn't he? He's supposed to be racing. He's in the chat. Who's in the VC? Is that Jedi as well? That was in the with the loading screen icon there in the YouTube chat there. You guys, thank you very much for following and tuning in to this qualifying session here for the Breakout Racing League. See if anybody else is well. So in Burlesy as well, this is obviously one of those tracks that last across the line, get the better traction, get the better speed.
Oh, of course. I mean, any track really. You want to try to be the last car out during qualifying, and you get the most rubber on the track, the better. What's the word for it? I'm drawing a blank right now as I come across it, but you definitely get the best traction. So getting the small amounts of time is usually the best at the end there.
And Belzy, as a driver, where's your favorite part of the track, and where is the part of the track you think is probably the most crucial? Which sector that you can really make or break your qualifying time?
My personal favorite part of this track is basically the entirety of Sector 1. If you get a solid turn 1 and whip it around into the next couple turns, you gain massive amounts of time. And of course, the downshift right-hander is just a really, it's a really fun corner. Just to be able to throw it in there and just basically hope the car sticks. But that's where I find my most amount of time. It seems like, we do have a car stopped on track. That Red Bull was just stopped on the racing line. Not sure which. I believe that's next Senna there.
Yeah, it looks like he actually retired from the session. That was the reason why as well. So, sure if he binned it or not, but we won't be able to check his car out, unfortunately. As we also having another driver retiring from Sevier. That's Javier Bronco, P9.
Yep.
Not going to be improving on his qualifying. So,
and another thing I've kind of apologies, Biggles. Another thing that I've kind of noticed about this track in my practice and kind of figuring out the best way to run this track, I actually seem to have better luck with this track with a little bit higher downforce than the basic setups that most of these guys use. I'm not really sure how many people go in and actually figure out their full setups for a race, but I'm pretty sure the default setup was 4.7 wings or somewhere around there, and I've actually come to find better luck with the higher downforce to where you can really follow the cars better through the fast corners, as well as just throwing it into corners and gaining that time that you need. There's not a long straight, so losing out on that top speed isn't a big loss in terms of what you gain in the corners.
there you have it. That's the Belzy 101 racing tips, and I do suggest to tune into that because the man is quick behind a wheel, as well as he's great behind a microphone here in the commentary box with me this evening. Once again, joining me, so yeah, pay attention. I need to pay attention to you, mate, because I have actually raced myself on Sunday. I'm just looking for a top 10 finish. That will satisfy the Beagles. That will be enough for me.
I think you need to talk to Javier, the keyboard warrior.
I do need to talk to Javier about the keyboard warrior. But Javier is actually in the team. Well, in the team that's against me. So I'm not sure how much advice he's going to give me. Anyway, Javier's a great guy. I probably wouldn't really worry because he knows. So Cal the Goko's even quicker again. So it's 0.3 quicker than everybody else on that last lap there. So the McLaren driver's basically playing for his food at the moment, isn't he? Leading this championship, he's dominating this championship, hasn't he?
Oh yeah, P1s coming into this race and just out to a monstrous lead right off the bat. And of course, you love the hot starts and getting out of his front, and so you can kind of settle down and find that comfort zone that you need for the later end of this race, or the later end of the calendar rather. Yeah,
comfort zone and Formula One driving. You don't hear that very often, do you?
Yeah.
It sounds like a tough one.
Definitely, when you're whipping these cars around as fast as they go, some of obviously the actual drivers in Formula One, somehow they find comfort in that, and to me, like I can do it behind a screen, behind a digital wheel, or not digital wheel rather, but a digital program on a computer. I can get behind that. I don't know about taking these cars out that fast though. Like, must be some scary stuff.
It's scary, but it is a skill. And as you know,
Oh,
even
of
with
course.
the esports drivers and a lot of drivers that we do know, and a lot of leagues that I commentate on as well too, have some seriously paced esports drivers out there. Definitely drivers
Of
that have
course.
run with esports drivers and actually have beaten esports drivers, even though it's not in the actual official esports league. But even messing around, they are quick. With the business end now of the qualifying session, most of the drivers will slot back in, they get some fresh boots on, and try to get the absolute last blistering lap they can in this evening with a few minutes remaining. This is the crunch time.
We'll see if Cal gets out for another run. He's kind of getting low on time, but again, under a minute 10 laps. So if there's no real traffic in his way, he'll easily be able to pull out another lap. Because we do have the racing point of Cagnus and the Haas. I believe that is Shappy. They're heading out. So we'll see if Cal the Goat feels comfortable with this time, or if he's going to head out again. And I think he's going to stick it out in the pits.
You might be done and dusted with that. Not really worried too much, obviously, about Marcello's lap or pace, or even Max Penna at the moment that we're on board with. The Mercedes driver improving himself up into P3 as Jax, for Emerald Jackson P4 has decided, well, that's enough for me. I either had a disconnection issue or something, or I decided I'm not going to be improving this evening, so that P4 would be good for me. We don't know about the weather conditions for tomorrow. Please let us know there in the YouTube chat if you are aware of that. We don't get that information up into the commentary box. Only the drivers get that luxury of it. We can tell you exactly what the weather conditions will be like once we load into the race. But for now, we are as blind as you could possibly be. Let's have a look at some of the other drivers now. There's a few invalidations, not as many as that I've seen before in the past. Well, Max Penn has decided he's going to box. Can Max get out again and get another flying lap in?
No.
No.
He will be retired in those pits.
All right.
Anybody that's not on the circuit right now, you're not looking at another time. Not really believe
All right.
all these guys are on hot laps, actually.
Well,
so,
Capri at the moment is on a bit of a flyer. That's a McLaren running. I always meant McLaren Mercedes. It's a McLaren running at P8 there. The orange should give that one away here down the banker like that. Hey, AJ, welcome. So we'll see if Capri can improve on his time. This will be the only chance that he
110
gets.
flat.
110 flat, exactly. Well, I'll tell you what, Marcello is looking good. That is the Ferrari driver. He's lighting up the timing boards of purples in the middle sector. So he's owning the middle sector at this point. What can the Ferrari do to own the GOAT? That's what he needs to do. He's right on the bubble of his times. First sector was just 1/10 down. Can he get it?
Ooh,
No, he can't. But look at that.
300th of a second between those two.
Absolutely brilliant, isn't it? And AJ's calling out the Bellsy out there. That is exactly the Bellsy. Join him in the commentary box this evening here for Breakout Racing.
Yes, that is me. Howdy. Hi.
So anybody else really on a flyer? I don't think so, Bellsy. I think this might be it.
believe-
Capri, well, we saw his lap before. He's not
Nope.
improving anymore,
There
and that
is-
will be it.
So, of course, we will see Cal the Goat on pole with that 108.7, followed by Marancello just 3/10 down. Or not 3/10, apologies, 300ths down. Of course, it's shaping up to be a good battle here at the front as both of these drivers can keep it clean. Almost half a second later, we got Max Pena, Emerald Jackson P4, Clean Shelby in P5, Shappy, Lil Taquito, Cappy, Exia, Cypro to round out the top 10. And then Javier Brancho, Moro Almarza, Cagnus, and Mex Senna to finish out the rest of these guys.
Exactly. And Exo, well, after obviously joining us in the commentary box early, slapping on his overalls, it's going to be overcast as well, too. They're going to be loading in now.
Yeah, is there a little bit of weather on that track?
Yeah, Zandvoort does have one of those tracks as well where it can obviously be on the coastline of the Netherlands. It is one of those tracks where you can get that little coastal weather conditions that come in there. It's not like Melbourne as well, like 4 seasons in one. Melbourne is. Could be beautifully hot. Could be hailing.
I feel like you would have a little more experience with Melbourne than I would.
It is. Melbourne is literally the season of the city of 4 seasons in one, because it's you can get an Arctic breeze come up, so you need to put basically a couple of layers, a couple of snow jackets even, and by the afternoon you could be down to your flip flops and board shorts because you could be stinking hot. So that is what Melbourne's like. Let's not worry about that because it's Sandoval here right now. Formation lap is on. Sometimes it's a little scary. Sometimes it is scary, isn't it? Because you get caught off guard when somebody forgets to slap that formation on when they're setting up lobbies. I've had that problem before in the past, but nothing the Breakout League racing guys need to worry about because they've handled that one. 14 drivers are going to be loaded here underway this is race 4 of the season. You heard there before. If you didn't, you can slap that, go back there at the start of the stream there. You can hear from Exa as he explained the whole Breakout racing season and how you can join, how you can follow, and how you can be a part of this great racing community.
Yeah, and going back to your description of Australia, or Melbourne rather, around where I live during the spring and fall, it is almost exactly that. You can wake up in the morning, it's a cold. Oh, we actually have the Ferrari spinning out of the formation line.
Speaking of cold, isn't it? Cold tires in those Ferrari, for
cold
sure.
Tires, yeah. Yeah, waking up in the morning, you can be almost full winter gear, and by 3 in the afternoon, you're shedding down to a t-shirt and shorts. It seems like it, and I definitely don't dread those seasons, but definitely hot here in the summers, cold in the winters.
It'll be hot in the race cars, won't it, at the moment? Even though it's not really hot in the race cars, if it was the real world. But you know for a fact there, Bellsy, you're behind those wheels, and a lot of these drivers obviously have those force feedback wheels. You're sweating like a goat. Absolutely sweating like a goat.
Oh, of course, sometimes. And obviously, depending on how you have your thermostat set, stuff like that. These cars do get hot. And even all the machinery that goes with the cars, they get hot. And before you know it, if you start the race in a sweatshirt or something like that.
Yep. And for those out there as well, and obviously mums and dads and things like that think you could just pause the game and come back to it. You can't pause the game because what you can't do right now is pause those 5 laps because we are going the 5 laps. We're going to be underway here for race 4. And Exa having a great, actually that's not Exa at the moment. Where is that? The McLaren driver making a huge, great launch there. That's Cal the Gate. That's the reason why that man is leading this championship at the moment. Who else? There's a bit of a spinner behind there. That's a huge spin actually. That was a ridiculous amount of spins there. That will cause a safety car. The timing glitches are there at the moment. That's not Exa leading this race. It is actually Cal the Goat there from the Ferrari of Moncello. So that is your P1, P2. Looks like Jax is running in P3 in the Alpha Tauri. And safety car has been deployed. That was for the spinner of Cypher, I believe that was in P14. So he is done and dusted out of the session, and that's the Williams. So early safety car. That was a crazy collision, wasn't it, at the start? He just spun a lot. If you guys can make us aware of what happened there.
Yeah, definitely a quick safety car. I'm not sure if any of these guys will pit. Obviously being this early, I guess if you got damage or something, obviously pit and fix that wing, but being the lap 1 safety car, you really don't need to pit, and we should be able to get the safety car done and dusted with fairly quickly.
You should be, because they're bunched up at the moment. They're all currently running in the Sector 3. Now, biggest losers and gainers so quickly. We didn't have many corners really to decipher that. Jaxie up 1. Petter's losing 1, so that's a switcheroo between P3 and P4. And then looks like Kangas gaining 3 positions as well. And Max Senna is boxing. Must have noticed some damage there for the Red Bull driver running in P13. Let's check out Max. Is there a front wing change? Yes,
definitely
there is.
A wing change.
So what tires really go on? Hards, it looks like, to run to the end of the race. Actually, has on mediums. My apologies.
Mediums. He actually started on hard, so kind of blundered his strategy right away. It's unfortunate, but
it's early, but it's very early. So we can be many more safety cars to come, or virtual safety cars, other strategies at play. And if you're running a P13, well, you only have a couple more positions to gain some crucial points here. Any point counts.
And I do believe that you can stretch 2 medium stints here, so depending on how many tires he has left and what he qualified with, then I believe he can run out another pair of mediums there at the end.
There you have it. And also, Belzy, how long do you think these soft runners, now you can see at the moment there on the screen there, the top 9 are running on the softs?
I believe it's a soft hard strategy here. I think hit around 12, 13, I believe. If I'm remembering right, it's been quite a few months since I even thought about sandboard at league sets, so that stuff kind of goes out of my mind.
When's the last time you have driven a league race in Zandvoort?
Oh dear. Probably back in November.
Interesting. All right.
So, quite a few months ago.
So, unfortunately, I've lost my telemetry for the race map, but that doesn't matter. I still have the telemetry where it counts as the live racing table, and I still have the race control session there, so I can get to see what people are doing for their pit stop strategies and so forth. Around here, it's looking like a 14-second pit stop. Now, that would be your average time. It's a very, very quick pit stop. It's an 80-kilometer-hour pit stop speed limit. So if you have to nurse a front wing change, you're looking at about 20 seconds for a pit stop. So you can see the interval times between those drivers as they bunch up anyway. So as that spreads out further, once we get full race conditions, we'll get an idea.
It actually looks like Cappy dipped into the pits there on the
he
after
certainly
the
did.
first pull after the safety car. So
Yep.
Sen already one place up from where he was.
So the only 2 drivers to box at the moment are Max and Cappy. So that's the Red Bull and the McLaren drivers running in P12, P13. Everybody else still have to box. The only 2 drivers on the grid there starting the race with those medium tires are Kangas and Maruo. Sorry, apologies if we mess your names up. We do it anyway.
Marza.
Yeah, we will. So safety cars called in this lap. Drivers are now approaching into the 3rd sector of this race. Cal the Goat will be your man, being the essential safety car. Look out for the Ferrari driver behind him on Marcello and Jax. So here we go. Green flag conditions here for an actual... Yeah.
It didn't seem to back the field up a whole lot, so I think on the exit of this turn is when we'll start going here, and it looks like that is the case.
It's green flag, mate. It's green flag. Let's see if Cal the Goat can hook up that first couple of corners and keep that Ferrari behind him. He does. So far, so good through this banking corner here. A little bit of a challenge going on behind the scenes there. It looks like Shappy at the moment in P6 putting a bit of a mount there. That's the Haas driver. A little bit of a squabble behind.
Jax into the... I believe it was Jax actually into the wall. No. Yeah, Jax just spun it there. I'm not sure if he spun it. He does have wing damage. No safety car there, though, so the race continues.
Yeah, we've seen enough of the safety car this evening at the moment. There's a nice battle between Shappy behind him, a little Tequila and Exa. That's a battle here for P4, essentially, as they're tucked up behind Mexican Clean Shelby. Cal the Goat still maintaining a nice little half-a-second gap over Marcello. Max Panart's falling a little bit behind there, 1.6 seconds. Clean Shelby tucked up behind. Telemetry hasn't shown me where he is at the moment, a couple of seconds, but looks like little Tequila having to just break a little earlier there. It's a great squabble here for the midfield. All on same tires too, mate. All on same tires.
Yes, of course. And dirty air is another big thing around this track. That's also why I dipped for the higher downforce, just so I could keep it still in line and keep that precious time. I mean, we already see Marancello dipping it down to 8/10 of a gap, 9/10 now. Well, fluctuating there, but can he keep it in DRS though, or DRS? One that does come out as we are enabling DRS at the next line.
Yeah, Marcello falling out of that DRS crucial zone that you were mentioning there as before. It's because you want to keep within 1 second the DRS activation. So Cal the Goat knows it. Marcello knows he's going to push on with it. It looks like Clean Shelby, he had everybody tucked up behind him at the moment, and Clean Shelby's now making some pace there on P3 of Max Penner. As it looks like Shappy's made a huge error, and that means that little Tequila get ready to Tequila making a pounce there on the Haas driver. You can't afford to make mistakes here around Xanavog because it will punish you in the different racing lines. No DRS just yet, but Williams driver knows that. Is it crucial for the DRS activation zone? So obviously that back straight is where you're going to hear it is. You're going to see that back straight now. I think the Williams driver can get it done on the Haas.
Obviously, apologies. Obviously, anytime you have a DRS zone, he actually goes for the inside move. Let's see if we can get it done. At P5, and little Taquito moves up into to P5 there. So good move done by him, and that was actually before the DRS even opened up. So that kind of goes to show the draft that these cars can get. And obviously, any track that has a DRS zone is crucial, except for
it might not be done yet, Belzy, because it looks like Shappy wants to take that one back away, but now he's had to lift it through this section here. Very, very hard to overtake, as you know. Well, the Haas driver was very close, but now he's got to just settle down. He's got pressure too from Exa behind. We'll go on board of Exa, the Mercedes driver, and can watch this battle up ahead from his bird's eye view, the T-cam view of the Mercedes. Looks like Max Santa and Kangas are making a little bit of an overtake behind them. That's a medium tire battle strategy. These guys know that they will be able to go a little bit deeper into this race than the soft runners, so they just want to try to keep as much as they can. Well, they're running about 10 seconds away from our race leader as Marcello goes faster.
Yeah, Marancello actually brought it back in the DRS zone there, so he gained what looks to be about 0.2 down that straight. So obviously those 18 kilometers an hour definitely helping the DRS zones.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on him if he gets breaking into that half a second gap to Cal. Was Cal going to try to react to that by matching his fuel, his ERS management, and all the other buttons and gadgets that are on his steering wheel to try to do it? He's actually trying to pull that back out of that DRS range, but still watching this battle between the Mercedes driver trying to bring it to the Haas-powered car. And they're all catching the back of Clean Shelby at the moment, who seems to be the Red Bull driver that's creating this little bit of a tow behind him.
It looks like we might actually have a battle for P9 between Gagnus and Cappy. Cappy's dipping down the inside for the better exit there and gets the DRS. And it looks like he got the move done so far. See if he'll be able to keep it.
Absolutely good call there. Thank you for catching that one out, Belzy. We don't want to miss any of the overtaking action, do we? And you're exactly right. The McLaren driver getting it done ahead of Kangas on the racing point. And that is also, remember, on the medium tyres. So those guys are on similar tyres. Actually, Capri, remember, he boxed already. So he's got fresh boots.
Yeah, he's actually got one lap fresher tires there. So a little bit fresher rubber. Definitely similarities in traction for those guys. And just a constant battle here for basically P5. P5 to P7 is all within a second of each other, so will we see some more overtakes as these guys kind of dip their ERS pretty low?
Nice midfield action, which is what you'd expect here at the moment. Front runners, wow, look at this gap that's forming as well, too. So it's another league, isn't it? Like the top two guys are in an F1 car, and everybody else is in an F2 car. Max Panner's now 5 seconds off the Ferrari driver. He's still got Clean Shelby for company behind him. There's a little bit of a gap to little Tequila, and then this huge battle you can see right now between 6th, 7th, 8th as well. Well, I think only a matter of time before Max Center we're backing up into this as those soft tires start falling off the cliff. Looks like see if Exa can do anything about Shappy down the main straight with the DRS tow. Let's have a look behind his rear wing. There it is. It opens up. Give him that 17 kilometer an hour that you mentioned there, but he's a little bit too far back to really try anything outrageous. You don't want to do it too early in this race as well, because we're not even the 1/3 of the way distance.
Of course, and that's something else I try to preach to guys that are seeking help is just be patient. You don't have to win it on the first couple laps. You got to get this car to the end with minimal damage and keep your tires and your car clean. Definitely be patient and know when you can overtake, know when you can get the move done and get it done cleanly.
Exactly right. Good advice to guys out there. Listen to a man that's quick behind a wheel. It all pays off. Patience is the key. Patience. Because when you are early into a race, strategy is going to come at play later. While the top 7 drivers have yet to box, X is getting very, very close at the back now of Shappy, the house driver. You can see he's eager, isn't he? He wants to get that job done. He's got Max Senna tucked up behind him as well, knowing that Max Senna's got those medium tires. He's going to go deeper into this race. You don't want to be compromised, do you, on softs, knowing that you should have the quicker compound tire. And let's go out to Clean Shelby because he's getting very, very close in the back of Max Penna now. This is a battle for P3.
See what he can do coming into this fast speed section here. Shelby's actually, he's fallen to 6% ERS, so definitely kind of low there. His Pena is also equally low, so both these guys essentially just using their engines for their power.
The Red Bull driver, he's just basically following that Mercedes. Just trying to think of where he's going to do it. As a driver at the moment as well, you can see a bit of a lock-up from both drivers coming in through there because those tyres are starting to struggle a little bit in grip. So following a driver, Belzy, is it hard? Does it throw you off of your racing line? And you also try to calculate where is that driver ahead of you making mistakes and where can you try to pounce. And Max is saying, well, he doesn't worry about that right now because Max is boxing.
Yep, Max into the pits, and there was another car that followed him in. Believe it was Little Taquito. Following cars for me isn't that big of a problem. Obviously, you kind of tend to brake a little bit earlier than you normally would if you're the lead car or in front of a lead pack. So it's just figuring out where you can brake, not touch the car in front of you, and keep essentially on their gearbox. And putting that pressure on, you can sometimes cause mistakes from the person that you're putting pressure onto, and then you're able to capitalize because you're just so close to them that you essentially just gained a free position.
That's exactly right. So psychological warfare does play into this game because I've seen before as well too. You also want to force drivers into corner cutting penalties and stuff like that as well too when you're fighting in the dirty air. And there's fighting at the moment. Shappy, Exa, and Max Senna. This is all for essentially what is P4 at the moment. They're tucked up behind. Looks like Max Panda's come out ahead of Kangas with those fresh boots. We'll keep an eye on this battle at the moment there.
It looks like Max Pena elected for the 2-stop. Oh, Chappie almost baited them into the pits. Exia going down on the inside here. Who can get the better exit as they're side by side still? Looks like Exia pulls out in front for the next series of turns.
Yeah, you got past Shappy. Can Max Senna carbon copy what just happened there? These guys are on, well, this is now the crossover point, isn't it, where those medium tyres are going to come into play. Well, you know, Extra and Shappy were on the same tyres. Max Senna's just sitting here back going, all right, guys. To me,
goes off
yes,
the track?
He does go off the track. He's completely gone off the track, and he's in big, big trouble at the moment. Let's have a look where he is. That's P6, and he's stopped completely on the track now. And he's wondering.
Wait for these cars to pass so we can come back on the track cleanly.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? When you spin, when you're in a very high position in the race and somebody's bunched up behind you, you've got a lot of positions to wait for. He's got no damage, but that's one thing he can take away from that situation, at least.
Yes, of course, and that goes to show just how the tires have degraded up to this point, and just send it a little too hard through that little that turn there. And Max Senna, of course, on the mediums, he pulls out in front of Shappy as Shappy goes into the pits.
Yep, this is a crossover point right now, isn't it? Let's have a look at the times. Well, this is interesting because now Max Senna, his last lap was 114.6. Well, Collegate's still doing 112.9s. You know, if you're pulling 112.9s, your tires are still pretty good. But remember to call the GOAT and Marcello. They're basically in a class of their own, aren't they? Because they're... well, this is going to be very, very interesting as well, too, because now they're at a pit stop window ahead of Max. This is interesting for Max. The Red Bull driver needs to get on with it. He's 14.2 seconds behind P2. Our race leader, he's 16 seconds behind. A 14-second pit stop if your team managed to hook it up perfectly, and the drivers are obviously managed to spot their braking points going in and out of the pit lane. Well, he wants to bring it to the Ferrari driver. He needs to get on with this and crack into that subpar 14. Well, here it is right now. The Ferrari driver's going to box. So we'll stay on board the Red Bull.
Yes. Actually, we do have a battle going on for P10 down there as both these cars are going back and forth at each other. It's like Mauro and Javier.
Yeah, I just want to keep an eye on this battle but between the front, because Maricello's exited the pits right now. You can see him on the rear wing of the Red Bull. So that means Max Senna has managed to hook up those laps perfectly for him. He will have to... remember, he's already boxed. He boxed from 1 lap of hards, and now he's on 12 laps of mediums. So he managed to keep within that pit stop window. Marcello, obviously, is going to be huge pressure for him behind, isn't he, now, the Ferrari driver on fresh boots. But
They're going to be in the pressure.
Can Marcello make those mediums go to the end of the race? Tall order. Too early? We're not even halfway through the race at the moment.
Tall order, but it also kind of goes that these guys built a gap of roughly 15 seconds, and I wonder if they're kind of assuming that they can continue to build that gap, and then it basically essentially has a free pit stop to throw it back on softs. Or
we'll go to that P9 battle as well too. That's between Scappi and Kangas. So it looks like Scappi has shapped his way up in the P8 there on fresh tyres. Not too much that the Racing Point driver can do about that. As you guys may or may not be aware, well, it looks all too easy on track, but those tyres really do make all the difference, don't they, when you're making an overtake?
And as you cut away, Maricello actually gets by Max Senna there.
He did. He certainly did. As you'd expect, fresher tyres.
Oh, yes.
And he's going to get within that 15-second gap. That's his key right now. Remember, the Ferrari's battling it with Cal the Goat, who's leading this race. Now, we mentioned this 14 seconds as a pit stop. Cal, he's going to try to itch these soft tyres out as long as he can, because the longer he can make that happen, the better tyres he's going to have towards the end of the race.
We actually, Maricello's taking good chunks out of this gap here. He's already dropped 6/10 just in those, 5 or 6 turns there. And Caligote actually just dips into the pits. So
Caligote will box. Yeah.
We will see.
So we'll stay on board the Ferrari driver and see what's going to happen here. We can look at that track map on the right-hand side. You can see the orange icon in the pit lane. The orange icon being Cal the Goat. Look at the Ferrari icon, the red one, down the main straight. Here we go. The Ferrari. Where is he going to come out? You can see out of exit pit lane battle. There is Cal the Goat. And has this worked beautiful for the Ferrari driver? I think it has.
Definitely. And now it's just on Maricello to keep Caligote behind him and keep him at bay. And later on in the race, if he does elect to go the entirety of the race here on these mediums, then as the tires wear down, not make mistakes.
So obviously the overcut has paid off. I believe it's the overcut as it's called, isn't it? Boxing undercut 1 lap earlier that the Ferrari team have called him in. And now, remember, he was not leading this race. Now he's leading this race by half a second. He does have essentially almost 2 laps more. We know that Cal the Goat has got fresher rubber. He's going fastest in the middle sector. But he
does have to deal with that DRS too. So can he hold off Cal the Goat coming down the DRS straights and keep him in the corners? Obviously, most of these corners are... you can definitely overtake into the corners. There's enough space to go side by side, so either we're going to see a great move from Caligote or just sit behind and kind of wait.
Yeah, Belzy, how's that feel as a driver? We know in the real F1 world, every time they come out of the pit lane and they are behind a driver, that they basically are on the radio. We've heard that too from Lewis Hamilton. We've heard that from Sebastian. We've heard that from other drivers going, guys, what happened? I was leading this race and now I'm in P2 or P3. So, it's not a good feeling. But I tell you one thing right now, Cal knows he has fresher boots underneath him. And, Marcello knows, I aim in the lead of this race. So it will be a matter of, it's one thing to have the fastest car, but you still have to overtake, don't you? And we're still just on the bubble off halfway through this race.
We already see these leaders dropping Senna. It's a gap of 2.5 seconds. Obviously, Senna's on those 14-lap-old mediums. So his tires are significantly more worn.
So this is it, mate. Cal the Goat's going to make a run.
And there it is. Cal the Goat back into P1. Is Marancello going to be able to come back at him and try to get that position back?
It did not look like the Ferrari driver put up that much of a battle, did it?
It didn't really look like it. Obviously, he protected the inside, but when you have that DRS, and I'm assuming he used overtake as Cal the Goat used overtake, that DRS can help out a lot. So as we actually have a VSC.
We lost Javier. Javier's actually going to be in Sector 2 at the moment. With the car still stopped on track at the moment, we'll go on board with Cal the Goat as they're going to be approaching this turn here, and the car's been removed. So basically around here, sweeping to this very hard on the braking left. Around here at the point is where we lost Javier. So he parked, I believe, on the left-hand side of the road. We won't see it. Virtual safety car means they have to stick to the deltas.
That is actually what happens when you kind of push those tires. Is Javier was on 16-lap softs. Here, so he just lost traction and been into a wall. Be my best guess.
Yeah, I was trying to go for the how far you can run deep of soft tire award. Didn't pay off, did it? 2 drivers out of the race. So points practically
Shelby
almost
gets
guaranteed.
through.
Here we go. Race restart. I think Maricello really hooked up that race restart. As he's super, super close here at the moment to Cal the Goat. Remember the tyre difference as well. Only a couple of laps between them now. So those mediums are practically up to temperature for both drivers. It should be even Stevens, shouldn't it, when it comes to tyres?
Yep, of course. I believe we got 2 drive-through penalties on that restart. So not really sure what happened with those guys. Mislaps of judgment, and unfortunately now have to run through that pit. Run through the pits at that 80-kilometer speed.
Yeah, I'll pull that information up for you in a second here, because this battle at the front is still really occurring. Cal the Goat wants to get 4 in a row, doesn't he, I believe? There's a drive-through penalty for Clean Shelby you'd mentioned as well. Kenga's getting a 5-second penalty, no doubt, for a bit of a tank slapper, a bit of a wing slapper under the virtual safety car or any of those safety car conditions. You have a 3-second penalty for corner cutting. So far, so good. Drivers have not received any of those penalties. So they've been good boys. Let's go on board with little the Williams driver on the back of Clean Shelby. This is for a battle for P6.
I'm wondering if Shelby's going to dip it into the pits this lap and just get that drive-through taken care of.
Yeah, does he want to put up that much of a battle? Knowing, yes, he will. He answered the ballsy call.
Obviously, when you get a drive-through, you have 3 laps to serve it. Otherwise, you do get disqualified. You get that black flag. So, depending on your situation, if you can pull out a couple more seconds, obviously you can prolong that entry time into the pits for the drive-through. But most often than not, just get it done and over with the first lap there.
Still running in crucial points-paying positions too for the Red Bull, so don't give up yet. I know your teammate's running in P3. Still, we have a lot of racing to go. 17 laps almost. San Marcello is setting the fastest first and second sectors there. He wants to keep within that DRS range, that crucial DRS range of Cal for the lead of this race.
We do actually have Jax down there in P10. He's pulling back, or he's pulling on the Renault of Marza. Now within 4/10 coming into this DRS zone. Gets a little squirmy there on the exit, but I believe that kind of took away his attack there. So we'll see if he will be able to get him on the front straight.
Good call there. Actually, it looks like Max Panner making an error as well. Max Panner making a huge error at the moment, dropping a couple positions. We didn't catch that because we're watching this battle at the moment. We'll keep in this battle because Jack's now having a great run, isn't it? AlphaTauri versus the Renault.
And that DRS should aid him in getting down there and in front of that Renault.
It certainly does.
Maro is actually on 20-lap-old mediums. So I'm not sure if he's going to pit for softs later in the race. I obviously don't have the tire wear up.
Yeah, he's done 20 laps on those mediums. You're absolutely correct. So he's not boxed yet. He's one of the only drivers. He is the only driver that is yet to box. So he's looking to definitely run to those softs to the end.
And do we have any other battles really going on? Does Cal the Goat actually just set the fastest lap of the 1:11.6? Him and Maricello. Maricello's still in DRS.
Max is boxing.
So.
The Mex Senna is boxing. So he's done enough of those 20 laps. Remember, he only boxed one. He was started on the hards, did one lap, and then now has done essentially almost 20 laps on those medium tires. He slapped on some medium tires to go to the end as well. So he can go to the end on those tires because he started on the hards. But is he going to slot out? Just ahead of Shappy, I think. As you can see, Shappy coming around the corner right now. So Max will go into that P5 position with fresh boots to go to the end of the race. We'll keep an eye on him. Somehow Marcello is still keeping within that DRS range of our race leader, just falling in and out of it consistently. He's not going to give that up, is he, the Ferrari driver? He wants this race win. He has time.
Of course not.
To do
well,
it.
When you see that car in front of you, obviously you want to push and you want to catch that car. He just fall out of DRS there. I believe he used a lot of his overtake, so I kind of see this gap forming a little bit bigger here through the next couple laps as Maricello's essentially out of ERS as well.
Yeah, those guys, remember, these two drivers, they are on a league of their own at the moment. You can see right now, too, from the Delta, they are practically a pit stop ahead of Capri. That's also the teammate of Cal the Goat, so looking good day there for McLaren. A hurl of points coming in the constructors if they could finish in these positions where they are. But yeah, Maricello and Cal the Goat, they are definitely in a league of their own at the moment, especially when you have a pit stop window really ahead.
Maricello just tipped it back into DRS range for this back straight, so using a lot of that ERS. Granted, he doesn't have a whole lot left. It actually just gained, well, lost it kind of there. I'm not sure if that's just the timetable's fluctuating or what's going on there, but appears to have DRS for this front straight as well. So keeping up with them on these older tires. Granted, they're only 2 laps, but a lot of ERS difference between the top 2 guys. It's Caligo's sitting on roughly half his battery bank.
Interesting part of this race at the moment as Mario in P12, the Renault driver, electing to go to the softs pretty early in this race. First penalty, well, that's a penalty for Capri for spinning the pit lane.
Cappy just.
I think that's Capri,
actually,
yeah.
These softs will go to the end. It's only, we got 12, 13 laps left for the end of this race, so we saw the guys out in front take those softs, I believe it was 12 and 14 laps respectively, so definitely doable.
So now Bursley, interesting strategy situations. You can see Marcello really just keeping within that DRS range of the McLaren driver. Now he's getting pretty close, but he knows that somehow along the line it doesn't look like he can get past him. So could it be some strategy call for the Ferrari driver to decide, you know what, well, I have a pit stop window in hand, so I'm not worried about the driver behind me, the Williams driver of Little Tequila. He's not going to be he's not going to lose that second position. But if he boxes now or soon, slaps on some fresh soft tires, you know how much more traction and time you can gain with those softs. Can he bring it to Cal with the time to gain, a few tenths per lap out of him, or does he wait?
Me personally, I don't think that he would be able to make up that time if he was to, let's say, box the softs now. Now, granted, if we get later into this race, and obviously with that gap extending the way it is, then if he's just outside the DRS range or realizes that he can't catch them, he could elect to pit for fresh softs, go for that fastest lap, and get an extra point. Because I do believe that Caligote actually has the fastest lap, and pitting late onto the softs will obviously provide a huge boost in time as in grip, as well as you're a lot lower on fuel.
But would
So
that
that
put the
fuel load-
would that put the pressure on the McLaren driver if you boxed early? You went out there, could you steal that fast lap from him? He had, as you mentioned, Cal the Goat does have the fastest lap, a 1:11.608. Not that much difference. Marcello's is 1:11.671, so he's only a few thousandths of a second slower. But if Marcello does take that, I'd like to take that other undercut strategy. Well, that means that Cal the Goat knows, well, I'm potentially going to lose my fastest lap if I. Otherwise, I can rebound, react to that by boxing. But then, if Marcello puts in some blistering fast laps, then that means that Cal the Goat could end up coming out behind him and has to try to get the overtake done.
Well, in that situation, you're out in the front of the race. To me, honestly, I wouldn't even worry about fastest lap at that point. You're getting ready to win the race. You're going to get the most points out of it either way. So I'd rather take the win over the fastest lap.
But yeah, that's the thing, isn't it, now, too? Because if Marcello, to me, it just seems like he can't get the job done on track.
Right.
But should he not take a risk and go to softs? Should he not take a risk and try to see if he can gain enough time? Obviously, he's going to... Oh!
Shappy just
yes.
spun it out.
Shappy has spun it out.
And Little Taquito actually just got a 3-second penalty, so obviously that cushion up there is progressing even more. And Cappy's actually on the fresher rubber coming up behind Pena in P5 and 6. So can we see Cappy gain a spot coming in the next couple laps?
He's got to chew through that rubber now, doesn't he? Because he knows that these tyres, well, they'll wear towards the end of the race. But on the fresher end, you see Max there locking up a little bit, trying to keep around the corner there. And on the rear, you don't want to be looking behind you, do you? But you do know that little arrow will come up on your car. You can see Max there struggling with the braking point difference there. Nothing that Capri really needs to worry about at the moment. Capri just basically biding his time, waiting so he can get him on that back straight, I would think.
Yep. And going back to what you were talking about earlier, if Marancello does dip it into the pits for fresh softs, Caligo, I wouldn't be really worried at all if I was Cal, knowing that you are the fastest man on track in a race distance, rather than just a couple laps. And at most, with those softs, you're looking at a second, maybe a second and a half if he's able to push enough in terms of lap difference, and there's not enough laps left in the race.
That's why I was asking that question earlier, because that was the time you probably would have had to get it done. You probably would have boxed a couple of laps early and try that strategy. Otherwise, now, if you wait too deep into this race, you're not going to be able to gain that much time, especially on the likes of Cal the Goat. You don't win 3 in a row, do you, in a championship for being any slouch behind the wheel? So I think any opportunity the Ferrari driver had now of winning this race is probably over, unless somehow Cal the Goat makes a mistake.
Yeah, I just feel like Marancello's best course of strategy is just stick behind him, get as close as you can onto that gearbox, and maybe try to force Cal into a mistake somewhere. Obviously, Cal winning the last 3 races appears to have the composure to complete the races when it's needed. So
yeah, you don't win a lot of races in a row like that unless you're not consistently good at what you do. And obviously, Cal the Goat is consistently good at winning races. At least he's consistently good at bringing his car in the right place at the right time. And obviously, it's not the first time he's had to mount a challenge here. As we can see, the challenge being mounted from Jack and Clean Shelby again, the Maxi Clean Shelby. This is for P8. Jack somehow finding extra grip at a 22-lap hards. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's a great, decent recovery drive from where he was when he spun out and had to pit for that extra wing damage. Is he actually dips it inside? Is he going to be able to make a move? No. And I would also like to point out, we do have a couple more battles shaping up. Cappy and Max Pena, as we've been watching, and as well as P1 and 2. Marancello he did bring that delta down to 0.3 at one point. trying to put that pressure on to force Cal into a mistake.
Exactly. The battle still occurs between Mix, Clean Shelby, and Jax. I don't know how Jax has managed to find the traction out of those tires. But he is just doing the absolute best that he can in the Honda-powered AlphaTauri against the Honda-powered the Red Bull.
Really pushing that car. He's getting scoring me on a few of these exits, so he's obviously trying to get the power down early and get the better exit than Shelby.
So the twitch of the steering wheel coming out of the corner as well, just probably trying to believe in those tires, those 23 lap hards are a little bit more tracking than what he would like, but they're not. DRS ran here. Now you're going to see the Alpha Power Honda on the 17 km/h slipstream here, but he's going to be a little bit too far back. You can see him twitching the steering wheel, trying to give everything he can out of there. Clean Shelby putting his car in all the right places. Twitches all around there from Jax, really on the bubble of those tires. Trying to force.
Actually, we do have another battle shaping up for P3. So half of this race, it seemed like as everybody settled down, battles prominent, but starting to creep back in here towards the end of this race.
Yeah, that's for Max and the other Red Bull teams. The Red Bulls, obviously, they have the wing at the moment. They have somehow, these drivers have been drinking a lot of Red Bulls because they're powering their way through to the end of this race at the moment. That's Max Center at the moment. He is on half a second there. You can see him gaining on the back of the Williams driver of Little Tequila. Little Tequila on 19 lap tires. So the Red Bull driver knows that in his ear. Well, he's got the traction, doesn't he? He's got basically half-worn tires. And also, Little Tequila is nursing a 3-second penalty. So that will definitely come back and haunt him as we get into the business end of this race. 31 of 36. A couple more laps to go, really, at the end of the day. Here.
Oh, we do have Jax making a move down into turn 1. Oh, gets a little loose on the exit. Just not able to get the traction out that's needed to get in front of Clean Shelby. So we got, what, 3, technically 4 battles shaking up
Marcello's
here.
boxing. The Ferrari driver's deciding. I don't know, it's a little bit too late, is it? He's got to go for the fastest lap at least. He can box,
Obviously.
come out. Yep, there it is.
Yep.
So
he's searching for fastest lap here.
He's decided enough is enough. The race win is out of the question for the Ferrari driver. So let's get an extra point for the fastest lap. Well, he needs to beat a 1:11.6. I have no doubt that man can do it. He's obviously the only man that's matching the pace of Cal the Goat. Go back to this battle between P3 and P4 as Little Tequila locks up heavily because he's just knowing, where is my tires? I'm hitting the absolute brake pedal and it's just not stopping enough for me, is it, that Williams car? The Red Bull just sitting there basically biding his time going, okay, well, I'll just wait for a mistake for you to make and I'm going to be pouncing past you, sir. Anytime soon. Don't take it away from the Williams driver because it's obviously massively difficult to try to drive 20 lap hard tires knowing that the guy behind you has some fresh rubber and has much more traction coming in and out of the corners.
And as well, Jax appears to get the move done on Clean Shelby. So Jax into P8.
Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it? Jax, I don't know, he needs to give that memo to his to the Little Tequila up and running at P3 that, hey mate, I can get the job done on older tires, and I have 6 lap older tires than what the Williams powered driver does running at P3. So wow, where's Jax finding the grip out of those hard tires? Amazing.
And obviously, I think that battle is gonna keep taking place for the remainder of this race. As Shelby has 7 lap newer tires rather.
Let's go on board with the P6 at the moment of Capri. He has those fresh tires. He's in the back of Max Penner. Now, Capri is nursing a penalty at the moment. It looks like actually a 5-second penalty, so he is in big trouble if he doesn't get past this Mercedes as quickly as possible and get a 5-second gap. But he has the tires, but does he have the pace? And does he have the time as well? That's going to be crucial.
I believe that's the Renault.
And Marcello is about to smash that fastest lap that I would imagine that he would. We won't go on board with him because you'll see that coming up on the timing screen any second right now. it will give the Ferrari driver the fastest lap. What will it be? I'd imagine probably 11.3. 10. Wow, absolutely obliterated that by almost a second and a half. Goes to show you what fresh tires do, doesn't it, when you have low fuel at the end of the race.
Oh, yes.
That's why I was wondering, mate, why not try that strategy earlier? If you could take... He took 3 seconds a lap out of Cal to go in that one lap. Now, if he did that, what, 3-4 laps, actually about 5-6 laps earlier, could that have made a difference?
It definitely could have. Obviously, the tire wears, the laps keep dwindling down, and you put more laps on these tires, the tire wear, he might not have thought that he would have had the pace towards the end of this race to make that move.
Well, I'm hoping that we can hear from the drivers after this race to find out. We only have a couple more laps to go. I would certainly, I don't know if you want to ask those drivers as well, Bellsy, but I'm interested in seeing the strategy call.
I was actually told by Exia that we will not be conducting interviews after this race.
Okay, fair enough. So. No problems. Yeah, well, guys, if you want to find out what happened, obviously, find out with those Discord links and stuff like that into the league here. This is the Breakout Racing League. This is Race 4, Zanderburg. This is PC as well. This league does cover a lot of different races, Xboxes and stuff like that, so...
And something else that kind of comes to mind is we have Maxena appearing to get side by side with that Williams, goes around the outside, takes it deep into turn 1, and they're still coming out on the exit there side by side. So great battle. And I'll say that really Senna just had to kind of stick behind the Williams there, as the Williams has a penalty, but Max Senna wanted to prove his dominance on track rather.
Well, you know that for a fact, don't you, Bellsy? You want to get it done, don't you? Let's go up on board to little Tequila as well, because one thing he wants to get it done. Well, you saw that overtake, well, the Williams driver now, 23 lap hards. Can he try to keep that up there? I don't think he can. Let's go back to the McLaren driver of Capri. He's nursing a penalty, but he's also stuck up behind Max Penner. As it looks like Caligo's going to run away with this one by, well, 6.8 seconds, but he will lose that fastest lap.
Yep.
I honestly think the Ferrari driver should have taken an alternative strategy earlier. Nothing to lose.
Definitely would have been close. And something to kind of point out, I believe Cappy's tires are starting to fall off as that pace from Pena is the soft to medium pace starting to equal out and give more traction to those medium tires.
So let's go to Cal to Goat, mate. Let's go to the beautiful orange and blue powered McLaren car. Well, he's dominated this race, hasn't he? Had a bit of a challenge from the Ferrari driver earlier. Nice little squabble occurring, but these two drivers were in the league of their own. But one driver at the moment, he's in the league of their own, more than anybody else. Only a couple more corners to go. Is he going to make this 4 from 4, is it? Or 5 from 5? I don't even know what it is. But this man is dominating this league. This man's going to dominate another race. He's going to cross across the Dutch Grand Prix. Cal the Goat wins, and not only wins, but wins in absolute style and brilliance. Nothing can unstop this guy, even mounting the prancing pony behind him, trying to give everything he possibly can in the Ferrari, really pushing like crazy. The only consolation prize the Ferrari driver will get will be the fastest lap, but he will not get that race victory. That McLaren driver is just a man in a machine. He's a glitch in the matrix even. Who can stop him? Actually, everybody's tried. Everybody has failed so far. Max Penner's going to cross the line here. He's going to finish in P5, no doubt, with nursing no penalties. Capri is going to be close there. In P6 there, the other McLaren driver. Good day for McLaren points in the constructors there. Scappi will get him. Last minute there with those penalties. Jack's a lot further down the field there as well. 13 seconds on 30 lap hards. He's celebrating as he's make those tires go a long way here. Clean Shelby dropping back a little bit there. Still finishing in the points. Points are good for any of the drivers. That'll be your race.
Definitely a very well executed race from those top two guys. Obviously, we saw that gap to P3 as they built out a whole pit stop, essentially to the rest of the field.
Exactly, a whole pit stop as well. A whole league, another planet, isn't it? There it is. Celebrate that, point that trophy up. So you're going to need to buy another house or another one of those multi-million-dollar yachts to store all those trophies in. More champagne coming for the Canadian driver. Another dominance there from Cal the Groot. Who can bring it to the man? Well, he didn't get the trifecta, but that was stolen away from the Brazilian driver running in P2. You want to read through those results there, Belzy?
Of course, we have Cal the Goat making it 4-4-4. I didn't know this was Wendy's, but just almost, he was 4/10 slower than that fastest lap from Marancello in P2. Senna in P3, Taquito, P4, Pena to round out the top 5, followed by Shappy, Cappy, Jax, Shelby, and Exia for all those points. Caganis, Mauro Marza, Javier, and Cifro to round out the rest of this field. Great race from everybody today. Definitely bringing some excitement for us to commentate over.
Certainly was. Thank you very much there for flying in very, very last minute here to the Dutch Grand Prix here for the Breakout Racing League. Belzy, I love that. I can always hit you up, and if you're available, you're like, hey, you know what, Biggles, yes. And also, thank you very much for the Breakout Racing team there, as well as Exa. You can see there, one of the bosses, the top dogs, bringing you in there, Belzy, hooked all the equipment up there so you can come and commentate with me, and you heard from the man earlier there. So if you want to find out any information about Breakout Racing League, well, obviously, you can click on the links, click on all the information, the social media, the Discords. The guys are great, aren't they? I mean, you just met them recently, Belzy. They welcomed you into this family. They have welcomed me into this family.
Of course. And, shout out to you. Shout out to those guys. Of course, hit me up last minute. But, if I have the time, of course, I'll come and commentate a race and kind of work on my commentating skills as a whole.
And your commentating
obviously
skills?
learn it from you. So
thank you, Belzy. Thank you. Your commentating skills are great, mate. Yeah, and what I do appreciate, obviously, about your commentating skills is that you have driver commentating skills because you are a very quick driver. I don't have that. I need to rely on other commentators and drivers to come in here and give me all that juicy information that the drivers are aware of and the viewers are listening to. And you've got some great pointers out there too, guys. So I do suggest to rewatch that. Belzy will give you some pointers on his strategy and tire wear and everything. So that'll be it. We'll call that. There will be no interviews, obviously, but doesn't matter. This league has a lot. I think we were mentioning before, doesn't it? Lots of tiers, lots of different divisions.
Lots of tiers, yes.
Yeah.
I believe they said 6 Xbox tiers, PC tier, ACC tier, realistic tier. I mean, just so many tiers for these guys to become a part of this league. And I guess we'll end it there
Exactly.
on behalf of BRL, on behalf of Biggles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do these guys have it fun any time, mate? Wow. It's amazing, isn't it? Goes to show you the true dedication into F1. And thank you very much, Belzy.
Yes.
Obviously, everybody, please still take care, stay safe. Tune in again. Thank you very much. This is